and welcome to the Busy Mom Summit. My name is Shannon Burns. I am your hostess. I am a personal stylist for busy moms and owner of the online store layeredbycake.com, where I help busy mamas figure out their style ruts and hopefully never have them again. So that's a little bit about what I do, but I am so honored today to be sitting down with Danielle. She is my beautiful featured guest for today, and she is one heck of a busy mama. Oh my goodness. This gal, let me tell you guys, she is a full-time teacher. She runs her online health coaching fitness business, which is amazing. You guys definitely have to check out her website. She has a gorgeous website. She's put a lot of energy and effort into it. And I am just so excited for her to be here to share some expertise. Today, we're going to be talking about how to live a healthy lifestyle without losing your mind. And I'll tell you guys, I always chat with my guest speakers before I bring them on. And in chatting with her prior to even hopping on here, I was just so impressed by how she really teaches to give yourself some grace. So I'm going to kind of hand it over. I hope that didn't derail you too much, Danielle, but I'm going to let her dive right into her content and just kind of, if you don't mind introducing yourself just a little bit, and you can see that I've already introduced. Okay, so I'm going to hand it over to you.
Hey everyone, my name is Danielle, and as already been said, I am a full-time teacher. I have 2 teen daughters and a husband who actually travels a good bit, so that adds another layer of busy to my life. And I'm also a personal trainer, and so I do some online personal training. I also do some in-person personal training at a local university and teach bar classes. So
that's right. I didn't even say that part. I'm like super busy. Oh my gosh. Just to interrupt real quick, I'm sorry. We're getting a little crackle on the mic. I don't know where your mic is or if there's something rubbing against it, but the speaker sound is a little bit of crackle.
Let's try that. Is that a little bit better?
Perfect. Yep. Okay. Yep. Okay. Go right ahead. You're good.
So yeah, I do understand what it means to be busy. My personality, I kind of thrive in that. I'm kind of one of those people who's either doing everything or doing nothing. So it's probably better that I'm doing everything than doing nothing. But I really kind of stumbled into health and fitness because I just felt like there was so much out there that it's so noisy and it's so stressful and overwhelming for women. And I really suffered from just kind of the paralysis of that. I lived a lot of my life in my 20s, even some of my teens, just really enslaved to kind of calorie counting and obsessive over what I was eating and the exercise I was doing. And it just became really unhealthy, and I felt like there just had to be a better way, and that there needed to be more voices speaking to women about how to live a healthy life without losing your mind, because it kind of made me want to lose my mind. So
no kidding, I totally agree.
Yeah, I've just kind of been working towards that for the last about year and a half. And in that, and being a teacher, I love to teach fitness classes, and I love to just kind of educate women on ways to be healthier while maintaining your mental health as well. So I love working with busy women. I feel like they are the women who are most likely to kind of forego taking care of themselves, because they're taking care of a family, they're taking care of a home, they're taking care of a business or a job. And so at the end of the day, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm tired. I don't want to work out, and this is part of my job. And I feel that when I get home from teaching all day and I have a really high stress job in a lower socioeconomic school, I love it, but there's no rest. I'm literally 100% on all day long. And then I come home, my daughters are in sports, and someone's got to make dinner and someone's got to help with homework. And so by 8 o'clock, I am done, legitimately wiped out. and then I'm trying to help online clients, and I do some writing as well. And so, I understand that overwhelm that moms feel. And the urge is often just to say I'm just going to watch my favorite TV shows and eat some ice cream, which is okay sometimes, but it's definitely not the habits you want to build in your life. And so
I love that you call it a habit too, Danielle, because for me on my own personal health and fitness journey, I saw a transformation. It wasn't until I started making it a habit, and I'm just like you, at the end of the night, that just doesn't work for me. I know I won't do my workout if it's 8:00. Yeah. I'll make every excuse in the world to not do it because I'm exhausted. And one of the excuses too that I make, and I don't know if you hear this at all, but for me personally, if I do a workout at night, it energizes me and then I can't get to sleep. And then I work until like 1:00 in the morning. And then I get up the next morning at 5 and I'm like, oh my gosh, what just happened?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's actually really, that's true. So I don't know if you ever, Legally Blonde is one of my favorite movies ever.
I love that movie.
And I don't know if you remember, she talks about, I think it's part of their defense strategy, like exercise causes endorphins and endorphins make you happy and happy people don't kill people.
Yes, yes.
And so there's actually something to that. If you exercise at night, you actually are upping some of your hormone levels that do kind of keep you awake and alert. And so it is hard to fall asleep. So that's real.
Okay.
So it's really a great thing to start an exercise habit in the morning. But I think before you need to look at really building these habits in your life, you really need to commit to your why. And I think that's really hard for kind of those busy go-getter women like us, is that we are so committed in all of these other areas of our lives. We want to be a great mom. We want to be a great wife. We want to build this amazing business, or maybe you're in a job and you just want to keep climbing up that ladder. Right. And so we're so committed in all of those areas that we feel like we don't have anything left. But what happens is if you don't have a why that goes beyond like looking good in a bikini, because, we all have those seasons where like, oh, it's April, dang, I better, get my workout on so I don't look ridiculous. Right. That kind of a why only lasts us for a little while, because then when the summer's over, we're like, oh, well, yeah. I'm wearing sweaters and I can eat whatever I want. And so if you don't find a why that's a little bit deeper than that, then you're not likely to really work on those habits, because we've all built habits in our lives. But the habits that we built are typically something that are really closely connected to our why. And if that why, like I said, is looking better for a reunion, as soon as that reunion's over, you're going to go back to what you used to do. And so I really challenge women like us to consider the long-term benefits of living a healthy lifestyle. And that means that you're able to work better. That means that you're able to parent better. That means that you will not spend all of the time that you have with your children drained and tired, because you have given your body the fuel that it needs, and you've gotten those hormones, those happy hormones that exercise brings, to really good levels where you have energy to play with your kids, even if you've worked all day. And so I usually like to have women kind of write down 2 or 3 reasons why they want to build a healthier lifestyle. And I really kind of ask them to avoid those superficial ones. I know we all want to look better. You can find the most beautiful, perfect woman in the world. And I say perfect because that's not real, but exactly. She'll find 6 things she wants to fix about her body. We all want to look different, and that is a place to start, but it's not going to be what motivates you to build a sustainable habit. So, consider things like wanting to be around for your grandkids. Consider things like wanting to have energy to really love on your kids well. Maybe you've got a demanding business and you want to build it. You're going to need energy. Being strong so that you can run with your kids outside, that you can pick them up even when they're like 8 or 9 years old, so that you can kind of hang with them when they're swimming in the pool and playing a fun game. Those kinds of whys are just a lot more connected to long-term success than
right. I'll tell you, I'm going to interrupt here for a little bit, just because for me personally, like I've heard this before. I've heard for many years people say, connect with your why, connect with your why. And I was always like, man, okay, clearly I'm not doing it right, because it ain't sticking, And I mean, whether it was like whatever goal it was, I feel like this is a lot, whatever journey it is or goal that you have, whether it's health and fitness, whether it's a business, whether it's being, certain things for your kids or being a better wife or whatever that looks like. Everybody always says, well, connect with your why, connect with your why. And for me, I felt like personally that was really hard to find. It was like, it's easy to say it, and it makes sense for someone like me, who I feel like I've already connected with that now. But like, I've been on a health and fitness journey very, very consistently for the last year. And just like you were saying with business, for me, it was partially my business. And the other part was my health, and the other part was my kids. So I have chronic stomach issues. I have always lived with them. I didn't know why. So I'm actually more of a nutrition fanatic than most because I've had to be, because I was so tired of being in pain. But also the stress from building my business was contributing to the pain that I was in with my stomach, because I had irritable bowel syndrome. So, which was never diagnosed. And now I'm completely free of that. I rarely have any of that. Now I have like flare-ups here and there that when it's like high stress or whatever. But other than that, as long as I'm drinking the water I need to, I'm eating fruits and vegetables and protein, and I'm doing what I need to, my body stays in check. But I also discovered that I was lactose intolerant, which I didn't know, which is a huge part of it, you know? So there's so many things that, like, as you go on this journey, I think you discover more and more about that why. And definitely for me, my business, it was stress relief for my business, because I was really stressed in the beginning, trying to grow a business and figure out financially how I was going to keep going with my business. That was super high stress for me, and it killed my stomach. So I was like, I have to do something for me that makes me feel like I can push through this. And I wouldn't have been able to push through my goals and aspirations over the last 2.5 years if it hadn't been for a good fitness routine. So I think that's a really important point. And I'm sorry to have such a long tangent here, but I just wanted to jump in because I feel like sometimes finding that why isn't as easy as you think, but you need to start on the journey. You'll discover it. It'll get stronger and stronger as you go. So
yeah. And I think everyone's got a different personality with that. And so sometimes it does require more extreme things. Like you were at a point where you were in pain for so long that you're like, I'm done. But a lot of us, we're so used to the kind of this middle level. We're not thriving, but we're not dying.
Right.
Like we aren't in pain, we're not suffering, but we're really not living our lives with the vitality that we were designed to live them. And so that just seems very normal to us. And so we don't really think we need anything different because we're not feeling bad. We're just not feeling great.
Right.
And it just feels like this is how it should be. But what I would say to that is, for me, my why has a lot to do with my beliefs about being a good steward of my body, and that this is something that God's given me and I want to honor that. It has a lot to do with the fact that I have daughters. I really want to promote in them a healthy lifestyle without them focusing completely on what they look like. And I mean, no matter how hard you try, your girls will hear all these things that that we all hear about what they should look like. And so if you're not a voice for health instead of beauty, in terms of the world standards, they're not going to get it from anywhere. That's not something they're just going to go out on the street and hear. So that was really important to me. Yeah. I'll be honest, my why started with tons of superficial stuff. I was a gymnast growing up. And when you work out like a gymnast works out, I mean, there's nothing, once you stop that, there's nothing you can do that will equal that kind of workout. And so typically gymnasts who quit, like they gain weight or they just look different. And so mine totally started with wanting to look different. And you'll see results from that. I mean, you will see results for that. But what happened was I started to feel better as I was able to do more. And for me, I'm kind of a little bit competitive, not necessarily with other people, but with myself. So, I would do 2 chin-ups and I'd be like, oh my word, that feels amazing. I want to do like 10. Yes. And so it kind of became just this way to better myself. And so I would say for me, there are several different whys lined up in kind of a different order that I didn't find all at once. Right. I didn't decide all at once, this is my why. For me, it started with the conviction that this is the body God's given me and I need to honor that and use it well. Absolutely. From there, I realized that, I want to be a good example, not just to my daughters, but all the friends that they bring home. And I work with some college girls. I want to be examples to them of what it means to live a healthy life without being obsessed. And then, from there, it kind of grows. So I would say start with something. And as you start to feel different, look different, and grow, you'll maybe connect a little bit more with your why. But don't just be okay with kind of that middle ground, because you'd be amazed how much more productive you can be in business, how much more present you can be with your children, if you really just make a few tweaks. You don't have to completely drastically change your life. I mean, there are people like you who have major health issues and they have to change their lives, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yes.
But for most of us, we need to make a few small changes that will make a huge impact, and those might lead to further changes down the road, and that's fine. But most of us don't need to totally overhaul everything.
Right.
We need to start small and go from there. So yeah, I think
actually
you got to start.
I totally agree on that point too, because for me, it actually started that way.
Mm-hmm.
I started little, and it's not that I was like dying. I was so severe, but it was, it would stop me in my tracks, and I'm a go-getter. So it was like when I'd get really high stress and I was trying to push through something, it would stop me and I'd be down. Like that was that, because of all the stomach pain. So for me, it was severe in that way, but like I started small. I was like, if I can get up every single day, every morning, and just do something, whether it's yoga or it's, so some days I would do like a stretch type, video or something. And I chose to do it at home just because that's what was convenient for me. Now my husband prefers to go to the gym. He's a gym guy. He likes to take his workouts. He's very strategic. I know. It's so, I always tease him. I'm like, you're such a geek.
all the mirrors, all the other guys with the big weights.
Although now that I'm doing more weight training, I do kind of want a mirror. Now we're thinking about building an extension of our house that'll be like a fitness area, because now, and if you know how it is, if you do certain moves in weight training better, like your form gets better as you go, you get more benefit from that, and of course everybody wants the most benefit they can get in the least amount of time. So, but yeah, I tease my husband. So yeah, and I'm totally like, I started small. I was just like, okay, I'm going to start with this. I don't quite get the nutrition stuff yet, but I'm going to work on it. And then I started like meal planning. I started diving into meal planning, but it was only like 3 months after I'd gotten the habit of doing my fitness stuff. Like I kind of did baby steps, because it's overwhelming, and it feels like you said, you don't want to do this huge overhaul because you're not going to stick to it. You're going to get in that paralysis, that state of overwhelm, and then you just do nothing,
Yeah, there's just a ton of research on willpower and our ability to use willpower throughout the day. And, we kind of think the more we use it, the better we'll be at it. And there's some truth to that, but willpower is something that can be depleted throughout the day. And so if you are constantly having to make willpower types of decisions, then you will end up depleted, which is why none of us want to work out at 8 p.m. Or we don't, none of us, if you save that big task that you haven't wanted to do till 9:30 at night, you're not going to do it because you're done. And that is a very normal thing for us. So when people do something like Whole30, which is a wonderful thing, they use that willpower up for 30 days. And then it is like, what? I can go do whatever I want. And so,
oh, that's too funny.
Even though the makers of the Whole30 give you a reintroduction plan and it's a very slow paced thing, a lot of times people will just kind of, eventually within 2 to 3 weeks go back to what they did, because that level of willpower is not easily sustained. And so unless you are someone, I do have 1 or 2 friends who have significant health issues that there was such a drastic difference in how they felt that they were able to keep it because they were in such pain and they were struggling so much before that. So there are certainly circumstances where you think like, yes, it is totally worth it to not eat that so that I don't feel that pain again. And
I always go back and forth though. Like yesterday, true confession, I had a donut. I paid for that though. Like, I mean, I can feel it within minutes because there's so much oil and stuff in that I'm not used to having, and all the sugar that I have like half, and I'm like, okay, I better stop there, because if I eat the whole thing, I'm going to pay for that in like 30 minutes.
Well, and now you're at a point where it's such a habit that you're able to decide, I know what the consequence is going to be. And sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes you're like, I want the donut and I'm going to suffer, and it's fine.
Exactly.
But that's a lot easier on the other side of a habit that's been formed than at the beginning of the habit. And so that's why I am not always I'm not one of those people who thinks everything has to be done in the morning, especially if you're a busy mom. I know you just have to squeeze stuff in, but I really, really believe that part of building an exercise habit is at least for the first month or 2 doing it in the morning, because you're taking away that willpower fatigue waiting later in the day. You are going to up the hormone levels that you want to up, which doesn't just help you throughout the day. It increases your energy throughout the day. It actually helps you sleep better at night. And so that's a fantastic thing, because that's a cycle you want your body, and you want your body to wake up, have all the hormones that need to be up, and then use that throughout your day. And then you want those hormone levels to go down so that you can go to sleep. And so that cycle is really the best for your body. So I feel like the number one step you can take to really building a habit is to commit to 21 days, because 21 days technically to build a habit, I actually think you need a little bit longer, just personal experience, but commit to at least 21 days of exercise in the morning. And that doesn't have to be 3 hours in the gym. It doesn't have to be a super difficult weight training workout. If you're someone who's never worked out before, start with something simple. Start with a walk around the block. Start with, a 10-minute YouTube video. Start with something small. You don't have to go big. Now, if you're someone who's exercised a good bit, you've got kind of an athletic background, then I would say probably need to up your game and do a more challenging workout, because if you're doing it, you want to get benefit from it. Absolutely. And so you need to kind of gauge where you are. But I recommend starting that habit, starting that practice for 21 days, just committing to that. And just saying you're going to commit to it's probably not enough, because your bed is warm and you like to stay in it, and the snooze button is so close. So I think you need to do a little bit more than that. So another thing I think that's really important to really establishing a habit is letting someone know. You need an accountability partner or a group to keep you accountable. So there are tons of groups online that you can check in with, or you can call your best friend and say, hey, every day at 7:00, I'm going to text you. And if I don't, I need you to text me and be like, get your butt out of bed. Awesome. Or maybe it's your husband. Be careful with that. You don't want to cause anything that's a little, animosity driven between you and your husband. But if you have that kind of relationship where you can say like, hey, I really need you to kick me out of the bed at 7, and do it.
My husband's that way, but I hear you on the animosity, because with my husband, he's like, well, Shan, aren't you trying to do this? Aren't you trying to? And I'm like, you need to back up. I'm not going on in here. I'm good. I'm super competitive, just like you were saying, I'm that way too. So when I commit to something, it's almost like I have a tendency to go overboard. I have to stop myself and be like, okay, it's okay that we didn't get it in today. It's not, if I'm not 100%, I need to give myself grace. That's where I struggle. Mm-hmm. But my husband is the type where he's like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm telling you now, and I need you to keep me on track. And I'm like, okay, so we just function different. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. And that is hard to.
Hi guys, we're back. I'm sorry we had a little interruption. We're having some internet connection issues today. So I'm sorry for the interruption. So where we left off is we were talking about how to build your fitness habit, and I was just talking about the differences between, Danielle was talking about having an accountability partner and why that's so important, which I absolutely agree. And I was talking about the differences between my husband and I. My husband is very much you need to remind me because this is what I'm doing. Help me push through this. And I'm more I'm enough of my own worst enemy. I'm good because there's a lot going on in here. So I got to give myself grace. So I'll let you chime in on that because that's where we had kind of cut off. So go right ahead.
Yeah, I think it's really good to know what your personality is. So if you are someone who is probably not going to do something without a little kick in the pants. I am one of those people. I love a group class. I used to go to boot camp classes with this old ex-Marine guy because he would not let you just sit around, if you were, he would be like, Danielle, you better be in here in the next 10 seconds or else everyone's doing 50 push-ups. And for a lot of people, that would stress me out. Totally stress them out. But for me, I know, my natural tendency would be to jog it in. But when he yells that, I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm coming, right? So that's just my own personality. So I need someone to keep me accountable who's pretty tough, someone who is going to be stop whining and complaining, get your butt up. I need a real kick in the pants. But there's plenty of people who don't ever start because they're afraid they are not going to do it perfectly. They don't want to do this because they can't just do it a little bit. They have to do it 100%. And so what that breeds is kind of a guilt and this cycle of overwhelm that I can't eat clean enough and I can't exercise perfectly enough to the level that I want. And so I just won't do it. It's too much for me to start, or I'm going to kill myself doing it at the expense of my business, at the expense of my family, at the expense of my sanity. Right. And so if that's you, then you need to be very careful that the person you choose as your accountability partner is someone who's going to say, it's okay, it's one day. Right. Because one day, I mean, honestly, if you have a lifetime habit of living healthy, you can go for a weekend with the girls and eat whatever you want for a weekend and you're going to be fine. I mean, if there's no like pain, allergy issues, it's okay if you do that once every 3 months. It's no big deal. If you have one night out with your husband a week where you guys order wine and some dessert, it's okay if the rest of your lifestyle is pretty healthy. Yeah. So it's okay if you don't work, if every week you work out for 7 days a week, which I actually don't recommend, but one day you miss it, it's fine. Like if you're sick or your kid has something, like there's room. Our body's number one. It takes a lot more. I think we think like, oh my gosh, I ate that donut, I've just gained a pound. Like it takes a lot more for our bodies to gain and lose weight than I think we realize. Right. So that's number one. Sure. And then number two, if you've got a pretty healthy lifestyle, then, tiny things like that are not going to throw it off. Right. I
love that.
Absolutely. So yeah, and I'll say the opposite. If you have a really unhealthy lifestyle, going to the gym once isn't going to fix that. Yeah. So if you're someone who eats,
all about the habit.
Yeah, if you're someone who eats donuts every day for breakfast, then like not eating it one day is not going to make a difference. So if you're someone who doesn't, you eat really clean, and then you have a donut one day, that's totally fine. If you're someone who's eating donuts every day, we got to talk, because that's not good. That's not fueling your body with things that are going to help it throughout the day. And so, yeah, you do have to kind of find an accountability partner that's going to really fit in there. So if you're someone who needs grace, find someone who'll give you grace. Yeah. For someone like me who needs a kick in the pants, it's going to be like, I don't care about your excuses. They're ridiculous. Find someone like that. Yeah. And I'm like that. So if you need that, you can call me.
Well, and speaking of that too, why don't you share a little bit about your online fitness program and how that works, so they can kind of get some information, because clearly, like, if there's some in the audience and they're thinking, I definitely need that, like they should be checking you out for sure. So how does your program work?
So my program, because I am a busy mom, I do not want to spend 3 hours in the gym. I mean, I'm not going to do it. I'm also not going to spend 3 hours a week prepping meals. I need something that's simple. I need something that's quick. I need something that's effective. So I am a big fan of a cycle of strength training and metabolic conditioning, which is really like high intensity interval training. Okay. And I really like to get the most bang for my buck. So I don't do single, like you're not going to just do a bicep curl because it's only working one muscle. We're going to do what we can in 20 to 30 minutes. That's total body. That's going to build lean muscle, which a lot of women are scared of because they think they're going to get bulky. But if you ask any man who's trying to bulk up how difficult it is to actually bulk up, they will tell you not to worry about getting too bulky. You're not going to get bulky.
My husband is on like a 3,500 a day calorie for clean eating. Yep. And the workouts are intense. They're so intense, but he likes to bulk up, and he's somebody who has a tendency to have a hard time gaining weight. So for him, it takes a lot of food, a lot of protein shakes, a lot of supplements and other things to help him like build the muscle that he wants.
And that's for men who have testosterone. For women, we don't have those testosterone levels. And so for us to truly get bulky, it can be done, but I promise you it takes a significant amount of intentional effort to do that. But yeah, so my workouts are 20 to 30 minutes. You have to check in with me every day, because I really do believe the best way to build a habit is to have someone who keeps you accountable. So you text me every day and say, did my workout. And I will usually give you a day if I don't hear from you, and then I'll text you and be like, what's up? Have you done your workout?
How do they get the workouts? Like, do you guys do it virtually, or is it pre-recorded?
Yeah. So my online programs, it's a weekly email with a list, and there's videos that you can watch. A lot of the moves I do are basic, so you don't need to watch the videos if you don't want to, but you do have videos there. And then we do some Tabata workouts, which are 4 minutes. So for
busy, I've never even heard of that.
Well,
I don't know what that is.
You need to go add a Tabata to one of your strength training workouts.
Okay.
It's basically 4 minutes, literally 4 minutes, and you do 3 or 4 different moves for you're going to do 20 seconds at your max intensity.
Okay.
And then 10 seconds of rest. And so that could be burpees, max intensity, all out, 20 seconds, you rest for 10, and then you might do push-ups, max intensity, all out, 20 seconds, rest for 10. And so you're at the end of 4 minutes, you literally are like, I can't breathe. But you are not only building the lean muscle with the strength training that I do prior to the Tabata workouts, but then you're actually reaching into that phase where your body is going to now burn fat after your workout is over. Oh. And so who doesn't want to be burning fat all day long? So it's a really great complement to a strength training.
Yeah. I love that. And 4 minutes of work, like anybody can do that. You can do it. Yeah. You can get through it because 4 minutes is like, I mean, think about how long you put your kids in timeout for. Okay.
That's true. That's true.
And that's what, on a 2-minute timeout.
If you start with nothing else but a few Tabatas every week, you'll be rocking it in no time. I mean, it really doesn't take a whole lot to get started. So yeah, that's kind of my program. We do have some nutritional guidelines. I'm really basically like a don't eat processed crap kind of person. And
well, that's the majority of it too. Those chemicals, I think, fight your body. And I don't know any scientific anything about this. I just feel like those chemicals that they put in processed food, it stops your body from functioning the way it should. Hands down. Like, it's not natural. There's things in there that just shouldn't be in your body and you shouldn't eat them. And that's my why for not eating those things. I don't buy processed box foods, or very, very little. The stuff that I do are like snacks that my kids enjoy, and I try to find a healthier version. But that stuff just I think it just clogs up your body and stops your body from functioning the way it should.
Yeah. I mean, I think if most people just cleaned up about 80% of their diet, they would see a significant weight loss. Even just 80%. Now this is coming from a girl. I love Twizzlers and Cherry Coke. I mean, truly, I would eat nothing else for my whole life but Twizzlers and Cherry Coke if I could. So I am not going to I never do this to my clients. I'm not going to take everything that you love away because life is meant to be lived. Live it. Like, eat your Twizzlers, drink a Cherry Coke if you want it. But those are the exceptions to the habit of eating well.
Right.
And so I think that if most of my clients can build a regular exercise routine and clean up about 80 to 85% of their diet, they will see significant differences in their body composition. And I don't always focus on the scale, because you might not see significant differences on the scale, but you will see a significant difference in the way your body looks, in the muscle tone. You are going to look leaner. You're going to be more toned. You're going to feel stronger, and you'll see a huge increase in your energy levels. And so, that's kind of my approach. I'll give you a piece of candy every day if you want it. I mean, if you want a piece of chocolate every day, eat a piece of chocolate. If you're going to your kid's birthday party and they have amazing cupcakes, eat it. Like,
I love it. I love that about you, Danielle. I really do. I love that. I mean, you know my story, so I'm a little bit more like, I have to be really strict. But I think for a lot of our audience, I'm sure they're really resonating as far as like, it's just like, give yourself some of that grace. And I love how real you are and how personal you are. And for those in the audience too, you guys, like, if you're looking for somebody to be a great accountability partner and somebody who just genuinely like will give you a little bit of grace and guide you along the way, this is your girl. I love it. Like, you're just so real and so perfectly perfect. No Lala Loopsy quote here. I have a daughter, clearly. I think they have some.
Thanks.
But I do. I love it. And so you guys should definitely check it. Now, share your website too, because I haven't even shared that, so they can.
Yeah, it's DanielleCevallosFitness.com, and Cevallos is Cevallos. It's my husband's name. I went from Barnett, which is super easy, to Cevallos, which is
I love it though. It feels like I don't know. It feels like very chic and like, I don't know. Like when I first saw your name and I saw your website, I was like, oh yeah, this girl is awesome.
I am super chic and fancy. Not really. I'm totally a very dorky, not cool person. So
I think a lot of us moms can totally relate, because I say that about myself. Like a lot of my clients now, I'm actually, you can even see on the picture behind me, I'm my own model on my website, not because I think I'm so fantastic or that, it's just a lot of my clients resonate with me. So when they see me, they know me, especially my local and clients that I've built and grown my business along with. They understand. So when they see me wearing something, they're like, oh yeah, okay, well, Shannon's this way. My body type's kind of like this. So they can kind of gauge fit when they're shopping online. So it works really well. But, it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things where you, oh my gosh, and I totally had a brain fart. Where am I going with this? Yeah, but I mean, I'm the brand of my business, and I have to kind of put myself out there. But it's also been good too, just to kind of segue back to fitness. Like I do have to be in the camera. I do have to be in front of it and feel better and look great and be a good representation for my brand too. So that's also been like a motivating factor for me. But I feel like I love how you touch on like, everybody's different. Everybody has to build their habits in a different way. Do the workouts that work best for you. All of those type of things are just so important for us busy moms. And I think we can all, relate to just, you have to find your jam and like go with it,
Yeah. And that's another part of building a habit is I love strength training and I love bar. And if you go into a bar studio, most of those women don't want to pick up a weight to save their lives. And that's fine. If you're going to go to a bar class every day, then that's your thing, then do it.
Yes.
If you love yoga, then do that. If you're a runner, then do that. I always recommend considering cross training.
Ask about
if
that.
you're a yogi or if you're a runner, because you do need some strength training to really get lean. But I think that 85% of your workouts need to be something you actually enjoy doing, because if not, it's that willpower thing again. If the decision is do something I hate or stay in my bed, stay in my bed is always going to win. And so
very valid point.
If you're saying like, okay, I love bar and I love strength training, but I still want to stay in my bed. Let's be honest. Like everybody wants to stay in their bed. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I can kind of say like, okay, I don't want to get up right now, but I know that I will love it when I get there, and I'm going to feel really good after I did it, and so I'm going to do it. And that's a lot easier than saying like, I'm going to go, I'm going to feel good after, but I'm going to hate the entire hour. Like I'm going to want to die and leave. Yeah. I mean, who wants to do that? You have to you're not going to build a habit doing something you hate. Right. If there's always an option to do something that you love, like sleep. So, you might not love everything or every minute of it, and that's fine, but find something that you think like, yeah, I really don't mind doing that. I kind of enjoy it. And that will really fuel that habit even further. Yeah. And the other thing, I don't think I said this earlier, because I think it's so important to build a habit of exercising in the morning, I absolutely think you need to put your alarm somewhere that requires you to get up. So
excellent tip. Are you guys writing this down?
Write it down
and remember it. That is an excellent tip. I love that.
Find your why, move your alarm clock. Those are your takeaways. But yeah, if you can just reach over and turn that snooze button or hit that snooze button, then you're going to do it. You're going to do it 2 or 3 times, and then it's going to be too late. You're not going to be able to work out. If you have to get up out of bed to turn off your alarm, there are some people who are committed enough to still go back to bed. But most people are going to say, like, I'm already up. And then right next to your alarm clock, I want you to put your workout clothes. Or I've actually slept in my workout clothes before.
Oh my gosh, I love it. That is hilarious. I lay them out on my bathroom counter. Yeah. The night before.
Perfect. So put your alarm clock across the room, put your workout clothes right beside it, and text that person you're texting or tell your husband, hey, I'm going to work out. If you do that for 21 days, I promise you the benefits, those endorphins, Elle Woods knew what she was talking about. Those endorphins are going to kick in. And you will feel, there's a whole lot of other hormones that actually kick in too. I won't go into all that, but there are hormones that you want kind of ignited in the morning that will give you energy for the day. And that all happens with exercise. And so you will learn to crave that as a start to your morning if you can do it long enough to where your body's like, yes, I love this. So
I took 2 days off this weekend, which is totally not like me. And then this morning I did a pretty intensive plyometrics workout, and I was just like, yes, like, I mean, and that was not the feeling I had a year ago when I was starting my health and fitness journey. You know, it was like, oh, plyometrics, I hate this. You know, at first I was hating it. So, I mean, I think that's such a good point too. Like, things that you thought you hated in the beginning can morph again, like your why can change, and all these things can morph as you start to see the benefits of what it is that you're doing, and just changing these little things and making that habit happen. So that's absolutely on point.
And you might not be, I mean, I'm a personal trainer. I did gymnastics. I love physical fitness and everything related to it. You might not ever be someone who ends up there. That's fine. You might just be someone who says, I love the benefits of a workout. I love the feeling after a workout. And that will be enough eventually to keep you going. You don't have to become a fitness crazed maniac. You can just be a normal woman who works out for 20 minutes in the morning and then does the rest of her day amazingly well. You know, it doesn't have to be this lifetime commitment to like CrossFit forever. Like you can.
Well, and CrossFit's kind of expensive, right? I mean,
I am actually, a lot of women ask kind of what the most effective workouts are. And so my number one response to women is always that the most effective workout is the one you will do most consistently. So do it. Same thing with diet. Yes. What's the best diet? Is it paleo? Is it gluten? What is it? Like the one you will consistently stick to.
Yes. And do you feel like, sorry to interrupt, just on the time frame, because you keep mentioning 20 minutes. Are all of your workouts 20 to 30 minutes? Like, definitely, do you recommend that time frame? What's your thought on that?
It depends on what you do. So like when I teach a bar class, it's an hour long. But if I was going to design a workout for a woman like you who's got kids and a job, it's going to be a super intense workout. And I do tell clients, like, my workouts are probably not for beginners. Okay. Because it is going to be a 20, 25-minute workout that's probably going to be hardcore from the moment you start to the moment you end. Okay. If you are totally brand new to working out, that's probably not the way to go. You're going to want to start with something simple like walking. So doing something like a couch to 5K might be a really good place to start. If you do nothing else but 20 squats, 10 push-ups, and 25 jumping jacks every day when you wake up, I mean, you're starting off just a tiny bit every day. You can add on. There are a good jillion things.
Write that down.
20 squats, 10 push-ups, and you can do them on your knees, and 20 jumping jacks. You're good to go. Do that for a month.
You'll start. You can't get up and do that every day. That's like so easy. I love how you put it, because it just puts it in perspective. Like your body doesn't need a ton. It just needs enough to get all. And I love that you have the science behind it, because honestly, I really didn't think about all the endorphins and all the other things that kick in. I mean, I knew it was part of it, but I just didn't really think about it, if that makes sense. Yeah. So that's such a great.
Well, and I think another problem that a lot of women have, and the reason people don't make it a habit, is they do something that's too much for them. Now, for me to do a 20 squat workout in the morning is not going to be enough. I've worked out for long enough to where, number one, my body's not going to see any difference. And number two, it's just not where I am. Right. So I am going to do 30 to 40 minute strength training workouts. I'm going to do one high intensity workout, and I'll probably teach a bar class. So 5 workouts a week. I do think women need to give their body rest time. You have to give your body time to recover. So working out every day is not healthy. Yeah. It's not good for you. Now, sweating every day, playing out in the yard with your kids one day, or going for a walk with your husband, that's fine. But to do a hardcore strength training workout 7 days a week is not, it's not good for you. But when women who've never worked out before try to do something like run a marathon, or walk into a gym and try to do weightlifting like somebody who's been doing it for 6 months or a year or 2 years, it's overwhelming. They feel like a failure, and so they just stop. And so you have to know where you are. If you are a beginner, then you start with something super simple, because some women listening to this heard 10 push-ups and wanted to die. They were like, I've never done a push-up in my life. I can't even handle that. Yeah. And so depending on where you are, you really need to make a decision. What intensity am I able to sustain for at least a month? Because then, after that, I'm going to say, we're going to add in burpees. We're going to add in other things. We're going to add in all kinds of stuff to that tiny little workout. But if you've never worked out, that's where we're starting, and that's where we're staying. And you're going to do modified push-ups, and you're going to feel tired after your 10 squats. Like, you're going to be you're to feel that. But if you're someone who's worked out for a year and a half, then you probably need to look at something different. So I recommend, if you're not a newbie, strength training. If you want to change your body composition, it is the most effective way to do that. There are other ways, but it is not nearly as effective. You're going to spend a lot more time in the gym. 20 to 30 minutes of lifting heavy weights in an effective sequence with some high intensity training is going to really give you the best bang for your buck, I think.
I love it. Yeah. Well, that is so great. We're definitely at the end of our time here, and I feel like we've covered so much content. Like, you guys in the audience, like, I hope you guys have gained so much from this. Danielle is amazing, right? I feel like if the audience could applaud right now, they'd all be like, yes. So definitely jot down your notes, you guys. Check her out. Her website is gorgeous. She's clearly a beautiful, beautiful person. And if you're looking for something that to up your level, your strength and training, she is definitely a gal to consider. I would highly recommend going over and checking out her site and reaching out to her. I know that there's got to be a lot of people here that resonate with you, because I know I do. So I love it. Thank you so, so much for being here. And again, we will put the link to the website down below so you guys can just click right over and check her out. So thanks again, Danielle. And we hope to talk again soon. I'm sure we will.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks. All right, we'll talk soon. Bye.